We're live again, guys. We're live again. We're here with a local celebrity attorney here from York, Pennsylvania. I'll let him introduce himself. We're here at the All Live Media Studio here in York. This is the DUI results guy. He has branded himself in that sector and many other criminal sectors as well. He's got a hot topic today. He's going to be talking about driver's license suspensions, correct?
Yep.
So I'm going to let him introduce himself. He's going to be giving his name, his phone number to contact him if you need services in any way, shape, or form, whether it's criminal. All you got to do is reach out to this local guy here. He's here in New York a long time. He's been in business 20 years?
Over 20 years. Yeah.
Over 20 years. So tell us who you are and your phone number, Bobby.
All right. Thanks, Ray. It's Bobby Schefter with DUIResults.com. If you go on my website, you'll get all the information. It's very simple. DUIResults.com. Right here in New York on Leader Heights Road. The phone number is 717-747-9048. Today, wanted to update everyone on some new developments regarding driver's license suspensions. Now, we talked before, Ray, on previous episodes about a new suspension law that took effect last summer where if you got convicted of a first offense DUI, you could get an ignition interlock or a blow and go the entire time you were suspended, and that helped out a lot of people. The problem was with the old and new law was that you still had to hand in your license in court. So when you walk in, you got the suspension, you hand in your license in court, you don't have a license, you can't drive, and then it would take several weeks to get the ignition interlock, the blow and go device, set up in your vehicle, have it approved, and then get the information to get your ignition interlock license. So even though you could have it the whole time, the reality was people were losing several weeks of not being able to drive because of that process. The second problem with the law was that even though if you were convicted of a DUI, you were eligible for the blow and go, if you went through the ARD program, and as we've said on previous episodes, ARD is for first-time offenders to go through a program and avoid a conviction, and they reduced the license suspension as well. The problem was if you went through ARD, you were not eligible to get the blow and go device, which meant that you could not drive for 30 or 60 days. So the legislature realized those errors and fixed that. And so now, what took effect on October 20th of 2018, two very important rules. Number one, whether you're convicted of a DUI or whether you get ARD, you will not hand in your driver's license in court. And that's a big change because it's been that way forever. And unfortunately, as I saw in court a couple of weeks ago, some attorneys aren't even aware of it. So you need to know that if you're going into court and you have a license suspension, you don't hand in your license in court, you will still be able to drive. PennDOT will mail you a letter. And when you get that letter will inform you the date that your suspension will start. And it will be within 60 days of when you get that letter.
And it's probably pretty important they shouldn't be driving if their license is revoked.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a huge penalty. So, again, if you have a DUI conviction or you're on ARD and you have a suspension, if you get caught driving while you're suspended, meaning you don't have an ignition interlock device or you drive someone else's vehicle and you get caught, there is mandatory jail time. It's for a first offense, it's 60 to 90 days.
Mandatory.
Yeah, mandatory.
That's something you should really listen to what he's saying because I know people that are contractors and roofers that have got caught in this little cycle that you're mentioning because they weren't able to get to work because they didn't have the interlock in there.
Right.
So you're saying it's a mandatory jail sentence?
Yes, it is. The statute says mandatory jail sentence. Now, if you get an experienced attorney, there are some things we can do. We can try to work out a deal where you get house arrest. But the law is clear that there has to be 60 to 90 days of confinement. So we can try to work a deal for house arrest. What I try to do ultimately, or ideally, is get the charge changed to something else. Driving under suspension, not DUI related, which doesn't involve jail time. So there are some things you can do, but please, if you're suspended, don't drive. Now, the other important thing with the new law is also the same goes for ARD. Now, It used to be you could not get the ignition interlock with ARD. Now you can. Same deal. You do not hand in your license in court. You wait until you get that letter from PennDOT. And like I said, I was in court a couple weeks ago when this took effect in ARD, and I had advised all my clients, hey, new law's in effect. You won't hand in your license in court. You wait until you get the letter from PennDOT. And there was someone in front of me who had an attorney who isn't very experienced in DUI. She was there, and she said to her attorney, hey, someone just told me we don't have to turn our license in. And he's like, well, yeah, as far as I know you do. And then he asked and realized that they didn't. And the client was not happy because she had made arrangements to have a ride home that day and had made arrangements to get a ride to work for the next couple of months because she wasn't eligible for the ignition interlock, she thought, and she thought that suspension was taking effect that day. So she wasn't happy. And that's because she didn't have an attorney who knew what the new law was. So fortunately for her, she did realize from talking to someone else that she didn't have to hand in her license and she could get the ignition interlock. But again, that's why it's important to hire an experienced attorney in this area, when you're, even if it's just an ARD case, because there's always something coming up.
Yeah, and this is unique. I mean, I don't know many attorneys that are going live talking about the legalities, from any kind of criminal matter, pretty much, from DUIs to marijuana charges to drug charges to anything else that you do, all kinds of law. But before we talk about that some more, I want to go a couple shots because you got a lot of people on here right now. I want to make sure you guys all know to please hit that share button, because this is a lawyer here in York that's speaking out live. This is not edited. He's speaking out live, talking about and giving you guys that free advice, okay? Brandon Bedford, thank you. Brian, Al, Jody, Curtis, thank you very much. Don't forget to hit that share button because it's important for us to get this word out. Bobby's been doing live shows with us for a couple months now, and we're doing a live show with him once to twice a month, and he's talking about different legal issues, whether it's, like I said, DUI, or any kind of a criminal charge. He is there to help. I'm going to have him tell you the contact number and his website right now while I type it. Go ahead and tell him your...
The website again is DUIresults.com, www.DUIresults.com. The phone number again is 717-747-9048. Offer free consultations, just like I'm giving free information here. If you come in, if you have active charges, whether it's DUI, marijuana charges, or anything, you can come in and we can decide if it's going to be a right fit. But it's free consultation. Before we were talking about marijuana, Ray, there's the second part of this that I wanted to get through is new laws that affect marijuana charges regarding license suspensions. Okay. So Governor Wolf of Pennsylvania just signed new legislation. It doesn't take effect until next year, but it's important to know. Ever since the 1990s in Pennsylvania, if you got convicted of a drug offense that involved possession of drugs, you got a mandatory license suspension, even if you weren't in a vehicle at all. Obviously not driving, not in a vehicle, had nothing to do with the vehicle, you were getting a 6-month license suspension. For a second offense, you were getting 1 year, and for a third or higher, you're getting 2-year license suspensions, and it could be as simple as possession of a small amount of marijuana. And it also affects underage drinking. If you got an underage drinking arrest and conviction up until this point, you were losing your driver's license. That was part of the war on drugs back in the 90s. Now, we've realized that taking a person's license for something that has nothing to do with driving really isn't the best way, isn't the best punishment. So, it's not effective until April 22nd of 2019, but after that date, any convictions for most possession of drug convictions or underage drinking and a couple other areas of law will not involve a license suspension. So that's a big shift in the law. Our government's starting to realize that people need their driver's license to go to work, to make a living, to pay fines and costs and those sort of things. So they're really starting to take the focus away from hammering people, and again, it has nothing to do with driving at all. Now obviously any sort of driving that's involved with that, DUI, marijuana is still in effect, but we're talking possession of marijuana that doesn't involve a vehicle at all, you will no longer have a license suspension. The bad part is, Ray, that it will not be retroactive, meaning if you have a case in the pipeline right now, you can't put it off until next April, you're still going to get the suspension. If you are suspended when the new law takes effect, they're not going to cut it off. Our understanding is you're still going to have to serve that suspension. So that's kind of the bad part, is there's no retroactivity. However, that is good news coming up for next year.
For the future people, yeah. I tell you, this is great information he's given us. I mean, again, when we go live, I mean, I don't know any other attorney in the York area or any in the central Pennsylvania area. I mean, do you know anybody, Pat? I don't know any attorney that goes on live and gives free advice like this. You guys need to pick the phone up, call his office. You have a need, all you got to do is pick up the phone and give Bobby a call. He's going to be able to sit down with you. Do you do free consultations?
I do.
So you do a free consultation?
Maybe not for much longer, but do it for now.
So free consultations. Mention the Facebook show. Maybe you'll still continue the free consultations. So driver's licenses are important. I mean, if you can't drive, you can't really get to work unless your work's 2 minutes from your house. It's a hot topic, huh?
Yes, it is.
So, and a lot of laws are changing, and if you don't have the experience like Bobby here as a lawyer that's been in business for over 20 years, he's up on the laws. I know this. I mean, he's done cases for me personally. I can tell you that he's up on his laws. He knows his laws probably better than anyone in the county. So,
not criminal charges though. I haven't read.
No criminal, but driving. I'm talking about driving. He does driving stuff. I'm a bad driver. I'll admit it. So. Ron Klein, thanks for joining. He's an awesome guy. He just joined. Please share, Ron. Thank you very much. Guys, please don't forget to share this feed out when this is live now or if it's ended, and you please share it out. Again, Bobby, the phone number for your office is 717-747-9048. All right, awesome. Any other subjects you want to talk about today?
No, that's good. I think we'll keep it short and sweet. We had some good information out there, so I look forward to hearing from you.
Till next week. What's our subject going to be next week?
At some point, we're going to get into the field sobriety testing. I'm kind of anxious about that. You have this whole battery of different tests they give you out there. I want to do a whole series on each field sobriety test and how it came about and whether you should do it and how they ask you to do it and all that. So I think that'll be fun. That'll be coming up soon.
Next subject. Yeah. And we're going to have multiple series. Every series that he does here, we're going to be talking about different subjects, giving you guys the free advice, the free he's going to be talking about lots of free stuff, giving you the free advice that you need. Now, again, don't go to court with this free advice, right? I mean,
I always have to give the disclaimer, this is not actually legal advice. This is general information for the public.
Correct. So keep that in mind as well. Guys, thanks for watching. This is Bobby here. DUIResults.com is his website. He's branded that name. Check him out. If you need any services in the future, all you got to do is reach out to him either by a click or a phone call. Thanks for watching.